G mission, G mission, G mission. This is Paradigm Live, and today we are launching version beta missions. I'm Mike Carterell. I'm a friendly leftover and your community manager. Muted.
You might know me as Lady Diamond Hand. I help with marketing ops and lore here at CyberBrokers, and we're so excited for today.
Yes. So I think everyone's asking, and the answer is starts today. Yes. So we're going to go through all the details. After this broadcast, the tweets and emails will go out, and your version beta bracer will be available for use.
Yes, we're super excited. We're going to give you the lowdown, go through everything with you, and then we're excited for everyone to get started.
Exactly. So let's take a break. And for those who don't know what CyberBrokers are, let's do a quick intro.
Mm-hmm. So here at CyberBrokers, we're a metaverse-native media entertainment company, and we're working on building an entire universe through our collectibles, our content, our experiences, like version beta missions, which we're launching today, which is super exciting.
So if you don't know about CyberBrokers, number one, go to our website, cyberbrokers.com. Number two, go to our Twitter, CyberBrokers with an underscore. Make sure to follow us. And we currently have two collections available. CyberBrokers launched last year, and Genesis Mechs, which kind of threw out and came in, wow, I can't even remember now. Was it April?
April, I know.
April, there we go. April, it was April. Okay. Let's do a little housekeeping first. So our agenda today is events this week and version beta missions.
Yes, we've been super excited about this. We're excited to bring back some of the fun of our quests from last year into a new refreshed version.
Exactly. So let's get, we have some standing stuff as far as events. Tuesday, tomorrow, 8 a.m. and 8 p.m. Central. We have office hours. Any questions, ideas, bring them in. That's in Discord voice. Wednesday, we have our traditional game night at 8 p.m. Central. Fun Among Us with Vo and Josie usually. Chase people around and kill them. Little break from crypto, a non-crypto game. And then weekly, we've been having these metaverse field trips. So the opportunity to explore 3D worlds using your Genesis Mechs. Those will pop up. We usually get a day notice on those. So make sure to keep track of Discord events. Let's start. You want to kick us off?
Yes. So we want to be the first to welcome you to version beta missions. We've been teasing this a little bit with some of our lore and our stories, but if you're new here, no worries. We're going to get you all up to date on everything that you need to know. And the real fun starts here. So yeah, we're excited to welcome you here. So we've got a few key steps here. So the idea is pick your faction, claim your rewards, and decide your destiny here in this new updated version of the Paradigm Lost.
And it's all about fun, that kind of little simpler version, and we'll get to that in a minute. So as we noted, it will start after Paradigm Live. It is 8 weeks, and each week is a different level. And then when will they get unlocked?
So today they're going to launch after Paradigm Live, but after today at 10 a.m. Central Time every week, you will be able to check in to see the new missions that will be unlocked that week.
Yep. And then everything wraps up on July 31st. So that will be the final date to complete missions, and we'll talk about that more. The version beta missions is pretty simple. Complete all the levels and get rewards.
Well, just simple,
Nothing difficult. So let's talk about factions. I think we've started seeing some of this imagery and some of the backgrounds, and the final boss, the last kind of story, delved into a little bit more. But can you tell us what the concept of factions is and why it's going to be important for version beta missions?
Yes. There's been a new version of the paradigm initialized. And you don't have to read our past lore. I recommend it, but to understand what's going on. But essentially, we found out that all the CyberBrokers were living in the tutorial zone of the paradigm for 200 years. And they were just initialized version beta, which has unlocked all these new beta worlds that didn't exist before. So as all these worlds are opening up, all these people are kind of rushing out to explore them and kind of see what missions are hidden there, what prizes, what mobs, what are in these worlds. And in the chaos of all of this new exploration, there's been 3 factions that have kind of emerged, and
Risen to the top, yeah.
And each of them have very different motives for kind of what they're seeking in these beta worlds. So these are our 3 factions. So we have the Shepherds of Celea, the Wayfarer Bureau, and the Winner Circle. So the Shepherds of Celea, they are kind of driven by this sense of urgency. So they're kind of going into these beta worlds seeking answers about this dangerous contagion called the Flame.
Oh, sorry.
Then we have the Winner Circle. So they are kind of like this gamers guild. So think looting, high score,
adrenaline junkies.
Exactly. Yep. And they're kind of going into these beta worlds to kind of seek out these Easter eggs, to find these new missions, rack up their points and their stats. And then we have the Wayfarer Bureau. So they're kind of they want to explore these beta worlds in kind of this more orderly way and kind of harness all this stuff from the beta worlds to bring about a new age of prosperity towards the paradigm. And they're kind of digging into the past, all of these factions for different reasons. So Wayfarer Bureau they want more information on these worlds to enhance, again, this exploration in this orderly way. The Shepherds are digging into the past because they want to learn more information about this mysterious flame. And the Winner Circle, they're digging into the past because they want to find these Easter eggs to kind of help build up their game, their gamer profiles. So in version beta missions, you are a new recruit to one of these 3 factions. So you're going to get to pick exactly which one you kind of identify with the most, their vision of the paradigm. And we're going to send you into the beta worlds to kind of
together.
Pass.
You need friends in beta worlds because you never know what's going to happen.
Exactly. A key thing with the beta worlds is they're a lot more dangerous and unpredictable than this tutorial zone that we've been in previously. So the worlds get a little bit funky, and there might just be some hidden mysteries out there.
So a method, if you don't have a predisposition just on looking at the names, there's a way to help you pick a faction.
Yes. So we have our factions quiz. So we're going to kind of throw you into a little, let's say, paradigm simulation and put you in a few different situations in the paradigm, and you'll get to decide what you would do. And we're going to tell you which faction you might identify with most. So this quiz will go live. It'll be in our newsletter and blog post that goes out after this. Even if you have a predisposition, it's a pretty fun quiz to take. And then you can actually share your results at the end on Twitter. So we're really excited for you to kind of delve into these different factions. And I love a good quiz, especially we worked on this one to make it, again, very situational, kind of what would you do, choose your own adventure style. So we're excited to see which faction that you end up identifying with.
So huge shout out to the writers room who helped a lot with this.
Yeah.
It's definitely fun. So if you've got a minute, just take a break and run through this. And just for Rice Across, who I see in there, who says Shepherds are the best, I ended up with Shepherds of Celea. So you can take the quiz, and then you can share your results on Twitter. You can take it again if you like, and then once you're done, it'll head to Discord, because that's where you need to access the bracer.
Yes.
Okay, so I think we have a summary of factions. Basically, everyone in version beta missions is going to belong to a faction. That will be their group that they experience missions with and will help them out. There will be some competition, and we'll talk about that in a minute.
Yes.
So I think we want to take a very quick moment and just talk about the change. We've talked about this before, but quests last year were freaking amazing. At the same time, they were the first experiment. So we took all the learnings from that, all the feedback, and we made missions. So you want to take the first part of this?
Yes. So as we mentioned before, every week there'll be a new level of missions that you have to complete. So we'll go into kind of each week, kind of what the difference is, but essentially missions are small little tasks. And you'll be able to complete those tasks anytime between that Monday when they launch, and until that next week when the new missions unlock. But a key thing is here, you can start and catch up anytime. So if you're going to be away for a week during this, like, do not worry.
Or 3 weeks. Yeah.
You'll have to wait every week to unlock the next missions. But like, say you sign up and then you miss the first 3 weeks for some reason, you can start back in. You'll have to start at level 0 like everyone else and work your way up. But the idea is, we know it's summertime, people have things going on. The only thing is you have to complete all levels by July 31st. But until then, again, it's fun to play along as things launch, because there'll be things getting posted and going out, and some fun live community aspects you might want to join in on to make it, I think, a more engaging experience. But we wanted to make this accessible to everyone, so you don't have to worry if you're going to miss some of the initial launch days.
Yeah, and your faction will be there to help catch you up, because it's in their best interest, because the more people you have in your faction, more likely you will be to win something. Pause there for that.
Yes.
So there is lore, but it's wrapped in missions and self-contained stories. So last time it was almost like a book with chapters, and they were linked, and you kind of had to follow along. This one, you don't. You just read the lore that's at the current moment in time, and off you go.
Yes. And a big thing with lore moving forward is there's going to be a lot of different ways to engage with it. So we're going to have these like self-contained stories, so you can read them individually, but if you read them all together, they will make sense together and kind of put together a big picture. There'll be lore wrapped in just the missions game. So if you just are playing missions, you'll still get lore, you'll still get some stories. And there might be a few other fun things thrown in there lore-wise. But again, the idea is there's different paths for you to engage with our lore now in different ways, depending on what resonates with you the most. And obviously, if you consume all of the lore, you might be privy to a few more secrets and Easter eggs. But we're really excited to kind of have a few different access points for lore moving forward.
Yeah. So easier to digest, fun. Yeah, I think that's the key thing you'll see here, is not that quests weren't fun, but it's little tidbits of fun that you can experience at your own timeline.
Yes, exactly.
Okay. So, and then last thing, there are puzzles, but huge brains are not required to solve them. These will be more easily digestible and back to fun again. We don't want puzzles to get in the way of things. We want puzzles to be a fun part of the experience.
Yes.
Okay. I think we've got that one covered. You want to tell us quickly, we don't have to go through the details every week, but you want to tell us how the setup works?
Yes. So June 5th, today, level 0. This is our setup week. So we're going to get you into your bracer, which is actually a Discord bot. So this will take place in Discord. And then the structure of version beta missions is there'll be a week of individual missions. So this means These are missions you will complete entirely on your own. Obviously, you can collaborate with your fellow factions. There's no rules against that, but the idea is if you just want to go in and plot away at these, you can do these all on your own. And then the next week, there'll be a faction competition. So these will require some collaboration with fellow members of your factions.
To
And
accomplish things collectively.
yes, correct. So it'll alternate between individual and faction competitions until we get to our finale week, where the winning faction, so the faction that has won the most faction competitions, completed the most levels, we're going to have a beta world claiming. So your faction will be able to stake their claim on one of our beta worlds. So we're excited.
What?
Say what? Exactly. So each faction will get their own world that they're claiming. But again, you want to make sure that you're keeping up with the faction competitions and make sure you're working together and getting that first place.
So, and this is just to touch base on what we just said in the previous slide. You know, the week of faction competition is going on. You know, if you're around, participate. If you're not around, you'll still be able to catch up. It just won't be like live events. You'll still have the ability to go see what happened and follow along. You just may not experience it live with the rest of your faction, which is fun.
Mm-hmm. So it'll be way more fun when you're live working together. If you were here for last season's quests, I know that was like a really fun time, and it'll be a great way to meet a lot of new people. But again, yeah, if you're not going to be around for that week, no worries. You'll still be able to catch up.
Yep. Okay. So the probably the one important thing to remember about all of this is July 31st. What happens?
So this is when you must have all of your levels complete. So in order to be eligible for rewards and claims at the end of this, you'll have to have achieved level 7. And again, you'll have until July 31st to do all of that. So again, if for some reason you missed the first 4 weeks, you can still come in and just, go through all those missions and get there. But that is the final deadline. So mark your calendars, make sure you have everything in by that date. That will be the only snapshot that we take. It'll make sure that you've completed all the level 7 missions and that you have at least one of the assets you needed to get into the token gated Discord bot.
And we'll show a little bit later how this all works, but you'll be able to easily see, there's roles for each level. So you'll be able to easily see, I've achieved level 7, I'm done. I don't need to do anything else. There's no, can you tell me if, my wallet is okay? There's no linking forms. There's no, we got rid of a whole bunch of the stuff from quests that was difficult from an organizational perspective. So it'll be easy. You can see your level, done.
Yes.
Okay. Let's go through the requirements. Well, you know what? First, let's talk about collab collections.
Yay, I'm so excited.
So clearly, if you own a CyberBroker or a Genesis mech, you can participate. But lead us into this one.
So we're really excited to welcome some new communities into the Paradigm Lost. So we'll have a few collab collections. So if you own an asset from one of these many collections, you'll be able to get into the token gated bot and participate. And you'll be able to get rewards at the end. So these include Avastars, Azuki, Base AF, Bored Ape Yacht Club, CloneX, Cool Cats, CryptoPunks, Doodles, Fluff World, Meebits, Moonbirds, On-Shade Monkey, Pudgy Penguins, and Ranga. So we're really excited to get some people into the Paradigm and kind of just show us what our universe is all about. And I think it'll be fun for the summer to just get some fun, good old collaboration, talking back and forth. I think we're really excited to have some fun.
Yeah. And back to simple. I think it's all about, we've created a great experience, entertainment, going back to CyberBrokers. And we want everyone to be able to experience it.
Mhm.
So that's why we've added additional collab collections to be able to participate. And we'll talk about rewards in a minute. But the idea is just, we're all one space to some degree. So let's act like that and have some fun together. Um, let's talk about the requirements.
Mhm.
So you do need a token gate to verify you have, a cyber broker, a mech, or one of these collab collections. That will be done in CB Discord. We do support delegate.cash, so you don't need to connect your cold wallet to verify. You can set up Delegate Cash and verify with your hot wallet. You will need to verify a Twitter account at some point, and you will need to use our bracer in CyberBrokers Discord. So that will be the main interface for missions.
Mhm.
Um, so we tried to make sure that it was lightweight enough that it was easy for everyone to do, but there are some requirements of gaming to make sure that people aren't getting around things. So these are our core requirements, and we'll get a little more in the FAQ section. So let's talk about rewards.
Yes. If you were familiar with our past quests, there'll be a similar layout to this. So our rewards will be distributed based on the amount of cyberbroker and assembled mech NFT assets you hold. And again, this will be at the end of version beta missions. So the more cyberbrokers and mechs that you hold in your wallet, the better your odds of snagging. We've got some rewards and claims. And if you're coming from our collab communities, again, don't worry. The idea is just to come in and meet new people and engage with us and see our universe. So you'll still get to get some prizes if you're coming from our collab community and do not own a cyber broker or a mech. So yeah, we're excited to welcome those new communities here into the paradigm.
And there'll be more deets on this later. I think the key thing to understand here is last year you were getting rewarded along the way because it was a longer, event. This is 8 weeks, so there's a set of rewards at the end.
Yes.
So you complete everything, get to the end, get rewards.
Mm-hmm.
Simple again, trying to make it as simple as possible. Okay, let's. So I wanted to point this out because a lot of people have love in their hearts for the Lupus arm. They call it the OG Lupus arm. So in last year, there was an easy entry point. If you picked up a Lupus arm, you got rewarded by owning it in all the quests. I think the extension of that this season in version beta missions is basically the Genesis mech. You can either buy or assemble one, and then because you own that, you will get a different set of rewards for owning that. So that's kind of the entry point into the CyberBrokers universe. Is that the right way to say it?
So yeah, if you're new here and you're not part of one of our collab communities, again, this is an easy entry point for you. You can head to our mech page on our website and get details on this, or hop into our Discord. We're very friendly in there and can answer any questions you have. But an enforcer level, which is our base level Genesis mech, is a great way to kind of get into our universe, see what we're all about here, meet some awesome people, and come hang with us and play version beta missions.
And get some 3D assets that are yours that you'll be able to use in missions.
Yes.
Okay. Let's talk about what the bracer is, or more specifically, the version beta bracer.
Yes.
So to simplify, we've put everything in Discord so that we can be personalized with each player. So there'll be a bracer command. So if you join the CyberBrokers Discord, use the CB verify command to verify your assets. Again, we support delegate.cash. And then you use the bracer / command. and it will give you a main screen that looks like this. You'll notice there's a whole bunch of things that aren't set yet, and those will be revealed as missions and weeks go on. But there's some core buttons, and you can view the factions. Take a look at all 3 factions in details. There'll be some settings for your bracer, because you're going to need to change things at certain points. And then there's the whole missions section.
Yes.
And the mission section is where you'll spend most of your time. It's kind of like mission control for you personally. We mentioned new levels will unlock each Monday. And you can see here, they're kind of color coded. Red means available, gray means not available, and then I think green means completed. We're not showing one of those here.
Yeah.
But you'll be able to see kind of where you are. So each person, this will be personalized based upon where you are in your levels and what you've completed. And there'll always be a status at the bottom, kind of telling you where you are in version beta missions. So very easy to understand what's going on. If we take a look at one of the levels, you want to discuss this one?
Yes. So each of our levels are going to have different types of missions. So there'll be some that are required. So those are those red buttons. So these are missions that you will have to complete to go on to the next level. And some of them have to be completed in a specific order. So in this screenshot, all 4 of these missions are required because they are all red, but obviously you cannot click the other 3 ones because you have to complete the first one to get into the next one. So pretty intuitive interface. There will also be weeks where there will be some optional missions. So these will be a blue button, and we'll be very specific about how many of these optional missions that you'll have to complete. So for example, there might be 3 blue buttons, and we'll tell you, okay, you have to do 2 out of the 3 blue buttons. So again, the idea is we want to let everyone kind of choose their own path and kind of do what missions appeal to them the most. So we're excited about this kind of hybrid format of required and optional.
Yeah, and it gives us the ability to allow people to work to what they are comfortable with. So if you're a creator, working with Pixie Bolt, you probably love. If you're a social person, tweeting, is something of interest. So there'll be a mix of those to help make sure everyone's got something that they connect with.
Yes.
Okay. This is going faster than I thought. I'm kind of happy.
It's because it's been ingrained in our brains.
Yes.
Got it.
we should probably note if you have questions along the way, feel free to ask them.
Yep, we can answer those at the end.
Okay, so let's talk about each mission, because again, back to trying to make this a little bit simpler. Each mission is going to have lore, which will kind of explain what's going on.
Yes.
It'll have very specific, direct instructions telling you what to do. And then there'll be buttons to take action on that direction, and there'll always be a check button. So I think once people see this the first time, they'll understand. But when you get a mission, sometimes you'll need to leave the bracer to go do something. But then you can come back, and the check command will verify that you've done that particular mission.
Yeah, and the bracer will always tell you your status. So in the screenshot, you'll see that bright red text tells you right away that your task has not been completed. So it'll be very clear whether or not it's registered, the action that you have taken. And again, there'll be lore, and then right below it, you'll see in the screenshot, it says instructions, and it says in non-glorified, very plain words, exactly what your goal is as well. So again, an easy way to kind of digest some lore, but you'll get very clear instructions on what the next steps are.
And Ballistic has a very good question. Once in a faction, you can't change, right?
Yes, correct. So take the quiz, have fun with the quiz. That is just, kind of to get an idea of maybe where you might fit in. But once you set your faction within your bracer, that is your faction. You are now a part of that team. So make sure you choose wisely about which faction you're going to enter into.
And this is another good one. Can I choose a faction for each broker or only one per wallet? I think you need to think of you're the player. So you're picking a faction for you, the player. You'll be able to change your brokers and mechs as you play, but you'll only belong to one faction throughout. Is that a good way to explain
Yes.
it?
So yeah, that's a good point too. You'll set your a cyber broker and a mech for yourself within the bracer. If you do not own either of them, we will have these like base mechs and brokers that you can use. Something similar we used in last year's quests. So don't worry if you're coming from our collab community or you only own a cyber broker or you only own a mech, you will be able to still have a mech or a cyber broker to set as your own. But you'll be able to swap your mech and cyber broker out throughout the weeks. Might be a little hint there that you might have to do some strategy there. But yeah, your faction is just for you specifically as a player. And we want to just make sure when you choose your faction, you're really giving it your all. And we don't want people flip-flopping just based on, kind of who's maybe performing better at one faction competition or another.
Correct. I would state there may be opportunities after version beta to change factions, but during version beta, you will remain with your faction the entire journey.
Yes, correct.
Yeah. Good questions. Keep them coming. Okay, so we're into the FAQ section.
There we go. I got ahead of myself.
So I don't own a broker or a mech. I do own a collab collection NFT. Can I still participate and get rewards?
So yes, like we just mentioned, we're going to have these like quote unquote extra or base cyber brokers and mechs for you to use if you do not own either of them. So again, super easy. We're trying to make this, just a really fun, exciting, streamlined process for everyone.
Perfect. I don't own a cyber broker, mech, or a collab NFT. Can I still participate and get rewards?
So like we mentioned before, unfortunately, this is a token gated experience. So you will need to own a broker, a mech, or one of our collab collection NFTs. But as we mentioned before, our Genesis mech, I think, is a really great entry point into this universe. The Enforcer level mech is kind of our base level of these mechs. We have a few different models. So I think this is a great entry point into our universe. Again, if you have questions on how to get yourself a Genesis mech, you can just pop into the Discord. We can give you more information on that. But we're excited to hopefully welcome more people into the paradigm. So mechs are, I think, a great way.
Next up, I won't verify my wallet using CB Verify. Can I still participate and get rewards? I can answer this one.
Yeah.
No, unfortunately. So this is how token gating is done, and rewards are determined. The whole idea was to automate a lot of this, given the experiences from quests last time, and remove all the question marks of linked wallets and everything else that was a little confusing. So unfortunately, the only way we have to do that is to verify a wallet. That could be delegate as well, but it just automates everything for us. So you need to use CB Verify to token gate and let us know what assets you have. I see a couple questions in the chat, and I'm going to hold them for a minute because we have FAQs coming up, and we can answer them directly in those sections. I don't have Twitter and will not create a Twitter account. Can I still participate and get rewards? I'll take this one as well, if that's okay. The answer is no, unfortunately. A Twitter account will be required for certain missions. And it's partially about helping us prevent gaming of the system. So if you combine a Discord account, a wallet with assets, and a Twitter account, it's pretty good that you can't create multiple accounts and try to game the system. So it's one of those requirements. It's pretty easy to create a Twitter account that you can just use for this, and not anything else. So you can do that. That's kind of our answer to I don't want to use Twitter. Any additions to that?
No. And again, you can create a separate Twitter for this if you'd like.
Yeah.
But yeah, you'll need to at least have one connected.
Yep. Okay. Is there a snapshot mechanism being used? So, and this kind of gets to this question here. Should I have assembled mech already? Is there a snapshot? So yes and no. To begin, you need to own a broker mech, meaning assembled, or one of the collab collections. That's the only way you can use the bracer. Okay. That requirement exists throughout the missions. So as an example, if you only have one of those assets and you move it out of one of the wallets that you verified, then you won't be able to access the bracer anymore. So you have to own one of those assets throughout. The snapshot of what you own will occur at the end. So if you don't, let's pretend you have nothing but mech parts right now. Okay. And, you decide 3 weeks from now, okay, I'm ready. I'm going to go assemble my mech. You can start beta missions, then catch up and get your rewards at the end. Effects, does that answer your question?
So yeah, you'll just need one of the assets to gain access to the bracer. The only snapshot that will be taken is on July 31st at the end of all the missions. And we'll send reminders out about that. But you'll just need one thing in your wallet from either CyberBroker, Mech, Collab community to play. And then the snapshot of how many of those assets you have will be taken on that last day, July 31st.
Yeah. We'll Pen Knob, we'll get to that in a minute. Effects, if you have a follow-up question, feel free to post it and we'll answer it more directly. I have brokers, but not assembled mechs yet. So you're fine. You'll be able to play immediately. For the short term, you can use the extra mechs that will be provided to play in missions. But it would be beneficial to have mechs assembled before the 31st. Is that a good way to put it, Brianna?
Yes. And obviously, if you do have an assembled mech, then you'll be able to set your mech in the game as your mech. So if you want to play with your actual mech, then you'll need to have it assembled to set it as yours.
So I would maybe we should pitch it this way. Not having an assembled mech during missions won't detract from your experience in any way. But having assembled mechs by the 31st of July will be beneficial.
Yes.
Okay. I think we can reword that FAQ. That's a good clarification to that one. Thanks, FX, for the question. Okay. Is there any benefit to hold multiple brokers and or mechs?
So yeah, the more brokers and mechs in your wallet, again, on the 31st of July, that means that you'll have better odds of getting better rewards and claims. And again, we're going to have more information about this, but it'll be similar to kind of how the quest worked before, where more assets you have, the better your rewards.
And let's just be clear. There was very specific rewards tables and everything from last year. I would not assume those carry over perfectly. At the same point, there, as Brianna, you were saying, there are benefits to having more brokers and mechs in your wallet than just one.
Yes.
Deets to come on that.
Mhm.
Okay. And the last one, is there any benefit to holding rarer talent brokers or rarer model mechs? I'll take this one. Yes. Certain missions will require access to different brokers and mechs, helping your faction win by having them ready to use. Um, so remember, every other week is going to be a faction competition, and having access to a wide variety of mechs and brokers will be beneficial to your faction, and the faction that wins gets something. So we're kind of building it a little bit into the lore of how this is all going to work and play together. And I see Rise Across this fits in perfectly.
Mhm.
What about stats of mechs and CBs? Will those play a role during missions? I would count on it. Right?
Yes. Yeah, just like how we had stats with CyberBrokers, we're excited to bring the mechs into the fray of version beta missions. Which faction takes Pranksy?
I think it's more a question of which faction does Pranksy choose.
Yeah, so you might want to ask them what what he's going for.
Yep. So we will be watching factions and do our best to try to help balance them. At the same point, natural selection will figure out some of this as well. That is the end of our presentation. I would love to continue and explain more of what's coming, but I don't want to spoil it, right?
Yeah, no, we're really excited. We're excited for just to get in and chatting again and all hanging out together. And we're excited to put into practice some of the feedback we got from our quest last season.
Yeah, and we've got some really exciting, fun stuff coming up. And I just love the conversion from quests to mission. I think everyone's going to resonate and just like they'll connect much better. So yeah, there goes Rise Across. She's already pitching
Solea.
Yep. So go start your recruiting now. And remember, once you pick a faction, you can't change it. So take a moment to think about it and make your selection.
Yes. And stay tuned. There'll be a tweet and a newsletter coming out shortly after this.
So yeah, so let's say within 30 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
So within 30 minutes, you'll see a newsletter, you'll see the tweet, the blog post, and the bracer will be available for use in Discord. You can actually go use it now, and it'll just tell you got to wait for a minute.
Yeah, so we're excited, everyone. Welcome to version beta.
Any other questions people have? No, they're all trying to get everyone to Shepherds of Solea. So my comment on that is FOMO, don't always go with what you see first.
Directions unclear, accidentally joined Shadow.
Yeah, there you go. I like that. That's good. Yeah. That should have been an option. That's a good
secret.
There's a secret faction that no one knows about.
Yeah, we're excited to see what factions everyone ends up in, and we'll see you on Twitter. We'll see you on Discord. Feel free to ask any questions as they come along. We'll be here to answer them. And yeah, we're excited.
Just notice the collaborate page on the DC. What's that all about? You'll have to listen to this again and listen to the announcements. The simple answer is version beta missions is open to more than CyberBrokers and mechs. Okay, thank you all. And as Brianna said, we'll see you in Discord and Twitter. Have a great day, and G missions.
G missions.
G missions. Bye.